Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Experience VCC. This is our fall 2020 edition of our virtual open house. I'd like to welcome you here. Today's session is going to cover culinary arts, baking, and hospitality management programs at VCC. We're going to start very shortly. People are still joining this session. For now, I'm going to put a little message in the chat stream. So keep your chat stream open during the session to ask questions. One of the things I'm posting in the chat stream right now is an offer of American Sign Language interpreting. If you need it, please let us know in the chat, and we have a way to get someone on the screen for you. Just letting a few more people into the meeting here. Okay. So my name is Jen Giesbrecht. I work in the Marketing Communications Department at VCC. I have a lot of fun doing these events in person, and we've been doing them online so far. It's been really fun as well. Before I introduce our speakers and our topics, I'd like to acknowledge that we're on the unceded territory of the Coast Salish people, the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We're grateful that we're able to work and study on this land. In this session, you'll hear a few different presentations, and after that, we're going to have some Q&A. So get your questions ready to be answered, and after that, I'll reveal some great codes for you to be able to win some tuition money, potentially, or just get $35 off your application fee at VCC. So in order, we'll hear about culinary arts programs. Then we'll hear about our special Asian culinary arts program. We'll hear about baking and pastry arts programs at VCC, and finally, hospitality management programs. After that, we'll hear from an advisor. I believe Raj is with us now. Our advisors are amazing, and they can help you with your applications. They know about prerequisites and the different kinds of programs and careers that you can find yourself in at VCC. After we hear from everyone, just briefly, we're going to have a Q&A session. Feel free to, since we're on Zoom, by the way, thanks for joining us on Zoom. I know our Microsoft Teams program had a bit of a glitch this morning, so we've shifted to Zoom, and I'm glad you found us here. Since we're on Zoom, you are welcome to pipe up during the question and answer time. Just unmute yourself and ask your questions if you're comfortable doing that. Just keep in mind that this session is being recorded, and so your question will be on the final recording if you choose to do that. If you're not comfortable with that, the chat stream is available, and we're going to be monitoring that and reading some questions out loud and answering those as well. Yeah, and after the session, at the very end, I'm going to give you a special discount code that'll give you $35 off your application if you decide to apply to a VCC program by October 16th. And after the very end, we'll have a special contest code. This code lets you enter a contest to win $1,000 in VCC tuition. So it's going to be worth sticking around for. Okay, I'm going to introduce our first presenter. His name is Chef John Lewis, and he'll be talking about culinary arts. Take it away.
Hello, welcome to VCC Zoom info session. My name, as I said, as mentioned, was John Lewis. I am the culinary assistant department leader at the Vancouver Community College. So what we're looking at is this is a full-time program for PC1. We do monthly intakes, and we will take up to a number of students per month. So it's a continuous monthly intake. This particular program is 8 months long, which is 32 weeks long, Monday through Thursday. And we start time, because we are staggering just a little bit. Well, normally we would start at 7 o'clock for all classes. And with the COVID, what we're doing is we're starting maybe in 15-minute intervals. So anywhere from 7 to about 8 o'clock, classes start. They go for 6.25 hours per day, Monday through Thursday. And what we're looking at then is the practical and the theory in that. So you will have face-to-face opportunity with the instructors in the classroom, and then you also have some online learning as well. So they will be, connected into Moodle From there, then there is videos and tasks and projects pertaining to the class that you're in. Each class is honed in on one particular, let's say, subject. So if you're in block 1, you get to know all about the knife skills, safety, sanitation, proper cuts, and methods of, say, cooking the food. Block 2 is all about the stocks, the soups and the sauces. So we're making a lot of things from scratch there. Block 3 would be breakfast cookery, a lot of eggs, stuff like that, omelets, waffles, compotes. Block 4, a little bit of baking in there, so some scones, some pies, creme brulees. Block 5 is a very unique class. A lot of the students actually love that because we get to break down sides of beef. We also butcher lamb and pork, chicken and fish. So it's very, let's say, rewarding to the students to see the actual product as a whole, and they get to fillet and, let's say, portion that up. Block 6 and 7, then it's all to do with cooking the food, preparing the food, cooling it down, and then packaging and serving it from the food from there. So we also have a professional cook 2, which is a 4-month course. So once you have completed and passed PC1, you then go into PC2, and all the while you're accumulating hours. So with the ITA, they're looking at an overall 5,000 hours for completion to get a red seal. And with the school and your work experience, collectively, you're putting those hours together in order for you to qualify and become a Red Seal chef. So there is more information, and I don't want to go into too much, but feel free to ask questions, text questions. This way, then I can be a little more specific to your questions rather than, let's say, because I went first, I'd maybe just be rambling on a little bit, but the floor is open if you have any questions. All right, so thank you very much.
Thanks, John. That was great. Yeah, just so you guys know, all of our VCC and chef instructors are Red Seal endorsed, and John's one of them. And they have, together among them all, just a ton of experience in all kinds of restaurants, hotels, resorts, competitions, and all these things. It's a real deep wealth of knowledge that they have in culinary arts at VCC. Okay, let's turn it over to Barry now, head chef of our Asian Culinary Arts program. It's been around for a very long time as well.
Yeah, hi everybody, welcome on board. My name is Barry Sang, Department Head of Asian Culinary Arts. The Asian Culinary Arts in Vancouver or in VCC has been since 1975, so which is 45 years ago, which is almost older than me, almost, but not quite. The program is offering full-time, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. In general, our schedule is 8 o'clock until 2 o'clock. We are the only one full-time Asian culinary art program in North America. So if you Google search Asian culinary arts, I believe the first one come up should be VCC. I mean, the other cooking institute, they might have a touch base on the Asian, but not specialists like us. This program, lots of people think we only teach Chinese cooking, but actually it's not. I just slightly changed the curriculum a little bit, which is including 10 different Asian countries, which is including Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Thai, Malaysian, Singapore, Indonesian, Filipino, East Indian, and Vietnamese and Korean as well. So it's a 10. The program is 20 weeks long. So in 20 weeks, students will learn no less than 140 different dishes from all those 10 countries in 100 days.
Finland, knock at the door, let her in. She can't get her.
So that means you break it down. So every day, so you will learn more than one dishes, and all those is hand on. You will make it your own. And the program is combined with theory and practical. So 90% is face-to-face, teach by the instructor in a commercial kitchen. You can see it on the screen. This is what we say. You get all the commercial kitchen equipment on site. So students complete the program. They should be able to work in any Asian restaurant. Should be no problem. We have 2 intake each year, which is February and September. So this class is starting on September after the Labor Day. Also, this week is the 5th week. So they have another 15 weeks, so they will complete their and graduate. And then next one coming up will be February. So we have 2 intake each year, which one is 20 weeks long. But we are looking forward to we might have another upgrade one. So, but this is what we are trying to create right now. Looking forward another couple of years, we might have the level 2 on it. So we're working on it. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. My goodness, I'm hungry now after hearing you talk about that stuff. Now we're supposed to talk about baking and pastry arts. Our baker, Susie, is here. I know she can hear us, but I'm not sure if her microphone's working. Can we test that out, Susie? I'm not hearing anything. You are unmuted. I can see that. All right. Well, I think if anyone has questions about baking, let's put them in the chat stream for now. And we're going to move on to the hospitality management presentation. Hopefully Susie can answer in the chat. But just in a nutshell, from what I know about baking and pastry arts, we have fabulous facilities at VCC. You can see from the slideshow there, those are all taken inside our campus. Our students bake all kinds of pastries and breads. They're sold normally in our on-campus store, Seaford Market. It's not open at the moment, but I know baking students are still coming to campus right now, learning some things online, but also visiting the campus to do the hands-on baking practice. There are 2 baking programs at VCC. One is focused on artisan baking, and that's mostly breads and that kind of thing. And then there's baking and pastry arts, which is, you know, those beautiful fancy cakes and desserts, things like that. Okay, so please put your baking questions in the chat. I'm seeing some coming in there already. Hopefully either Susie or our advisor Raj is going to be able to answer them during the Q&A time. Okay, let's move forward to hospitality management. Willie and Monique are together in one screen. Go ahead, guys.
Hi, everyone. Hello. So my name is Monique. I'm the department head for hospitality, and I'll give a bit of a brief introduction to what we do in our program. The Diploma in Hospitality Management is a 2-year program. It consists of 2 intakes. We have an intake in January, and we have an intake in September. And actually, I should make a correction. We have added a 3rd intake, but just started it recently this year, what is May. So January, May, and September are now the current intakes for the Diploma in Hospitality Management. The program is 2 years long. We have 20 courses to complete. Right now, at this present time, due to COVID, the majority of our courses are being offered online, with the exception of the food courses, food production and restaurant operations. Those courses are partly online. The theory is done online, and the actual practice, cooking, serving is done in our restaurant. So that part you have to be on campus for. So, but those 2 courses are not till actually year 2, semesters 3 and 4. So food production and restaurant operations, it's kind of like a blended. Theory is done online for the moment, and the practice is done in our kitchens. So that is the diploma program. We also have a bachelor's degree program, but again, consists as well of 20 courses. It's also 2 years long. And we do have quite a few students that will start with our diploma program and continue with our degree. what is always exciting. If that's the case, if we have students graduating, say, for example, in December, we won't let you wait till September of the following year. We will insert you in a January intake. Currently, the website will tell you that for the bachelor's degree program, we only have one intake, and that is September. But like I said, if you graduate from the diploma program, say in December, we will let you start in January. Okay, so it's a bit of a trick to that, but yeah, so it's an exciting program. We are a very large program here at VCC. We have about 450 students, and all different cultures. Everything is mixed, so well from the students' perspective, obviously, but also our faculty. We have a multicultural background in faculty, and they are very much, their whole background is obviously based in this industry in hospitality and tourism management. So one requirement on the diploma program is that students have to complete 500 working hours. And that's always the big question, especially now with COVID. How do we do that? How do we complete these hours? And where do we even get these hours, right? So I'm going to give it over to Willie, who will chat a little bit about that.
Hello, everybody. I'm Willie. I'm the assistant department head. So I work very closely with Monique. And we wanted to address the 500 hours that is required for students to complete the diploma program. And there is a variety of job opportunities happening in our industry. So many of you are wondering what has happened with COVID and how it's the industry dealing with this. Well, I can tell you right now that opportunities are there. For example, Grouse Mountain is looking to hire our students, and they have been moving pretty fast on trying to get as many students as possible for their 500 hours. There are resorts in Tofino, resorts in Whistler, resorts in different areas outside of Vancouver who are also looking for opportunity from students to complete their 500 hours. Why? Because resorts are becoming a very important part of the destination, as many are trying to stay away from the COVID-related issues. Many students have found other opportunities. Something interesting that is happening to the 500 hours as well is that you're seeing some interesting type of events and activities. For example, farm tourism has become a really important tool in hospitality, and they're hiring our students to work whether it is during pumpkin season or during berry season or any type of event that is outdoors and the exposure to COVID is limited. So students are being hired into those positions as well. Needless to say, the restaurant business has become very, very creative, and they're also looking to hire students, and they're doing it in a variety of ways. Virtual technology is becoming really important, and so they're hiring students who have a combination of the technology and hospitality management to be able to work in those fields. So our industry is alive and well, is thriving, and like Monique said, our intake has been very, very strong, and we welcome you to our program whenever you're ready to come and visit with us.
I guess we can add care homes too as well, that are really, really looking for students in hiring positions.
That's right. So currently students have been going through their 500 hours, have been able to be very creative on finding positions, as Monique pointed it out, and caregiving and frontline employment as well, whether it's in the service industry related to COVID or any other area where they find the need for hospitality students. They've been thriving and they've been doing very, very well. So,
did you want me to answer a question in the chat box there, Jennifer, in regards to hospitality?
If you want to type your answers in the chat, yeah, or you can answer the folks privately if you want in the chat stream. We will read numerous questions out loud later on, just for the rest of the group. But feel free to answer questions in the chat right now too.
Thank you.
So farm tourism, hey, I actually have a quick question for you about the care homes. So are these like activities coordinators and things that people are doing? Yeah?
Yeah, activities, even front desk, it's still open.
yeah.
Yeah, even go ahead.
Oh yeah, okay, interesting.
Yeah, there's a variety of opportunities that they're finding them. They find that just because of all the new restrictions with COVID, they're requiring students to have that customer service experience to come in and help out in areas where they before didn't have that. Most of the time they would go to the medical field or nursing industry, but they're searching into the hospitality because they find it to be necessary to direct people and help people and assist people going from one area to the other. So yeah, that's become a very thriving part of our business.
Interesting. That's great. So this slide I've just showed here is an upcoming info session for culinary and Asian culinary. That's Tuesday, October 13th. That's just going to be next week, right after Thanksgiving. And that's another session just like this. You'll get to talk to some more chefs and get your questions answered. Okay, here's some options for following culinary and baking at VCC on social media. So just check them out there if you like food pics, especially. I do. Okay, and this is how you reach our program advisors. I'm going to give the floor here to Raj. He's going to tell you what they do. Go ahead. Raj, you are muted right now.
Still muted.
There we
Sorry
go.
about that.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rajesh Kapoor, and I am an advisor at Vancouver Community College. We are a team of 5 advisors, and we are all here to help you. We can assist you with resources to help make your educational journey a successful one. We will help you map out your educational plan and help you find the quickest way to meet requirements so that you can enter into your dream career as soon as possible. If you have a question and don't know whom to ask us, ask an advisor. We know a lot about the college, about the programs, and a general information about everything that's happening at the college. We might not have details. So if we don't have the details, we will forward your question or we will connect you to the appropriate people in the college. We offer appointments that are available by phone or by Zoom. So you can go ahead and book an appointment for a one-to-one consultation with an advisor. These appointments are available Monday to Friday from 9 to 4. So all you need to do is pick up the phone, call us at 604-871-7000 and then option 2, and you can book an appointment with an advisor. And I will be around, so throw your questions at us over the chat or speak up, and we'll try our best to answer your questions now. If we are unable to get to your questions, feel free to book an appointment where we will sit with you virtually and answer your questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Raj. In addition to this session right now and the advising appointments that are available and the drop-in sessions that are available throughout the weeks, today during Experience VCC, we're having a Zoom drop-in session for advising as well. So I'm going to put that Zoom link in our chat a little bit later on in case your questions don't get answered today. I know that I see there's a lot of questions in the chat right now. If some of them don't get answered today, what you can do is email the addresses that we've been sharing or drop into the advising session, the drop-in session all day today. Okay, I think Susie might be ready to share now. Go ahead if you are.
Hi.
Hi, Susie. I think if you have 2 devices on, you might want to
Yeah,
turn one off. Okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
Sorry, everybody. Jennifer, I just emailed you a presentation. Are you able to open that? And
I'm sorry, we only have this one presentation here, but I'll go back to the baking and pastry slide.
oh, okay, sure. Right. Well, so sorry, everybody, about the technical difficulties. I answered a few questions in the chat screen, but I'll just give you a quick overview of the program. We have 3 different programs. I'll just speak about the 2 sort of more popular ones. We have an 11-month pastry certificate, and we have an 11-month artisan baking certificate, which is very, very similar. There's a lot of common curriculum between those 2 programs. But we also have a 16-month dual certificate program for international students. We generally, for the first program, I mentioned the pastry program, 11 months, we generally run almost all pastry programs and only one artisan baking program every year for domestic students. And then, like I said, we have the two 16-month international student programs. The majority of the program is practice, skill development in the baking lab, like you're seeing in these images. Students, VCC baking program is really famous for the amount of practice that students get. You will study every aspect of baking in the 11 months. It tends to go by quite quickly because it's pretty full. And of course there is a baking science or baking theory component to complement your developing understanding about the physics and the chemistry that is happening in front of you as you're baking. The end of the program, there is a practicum, a 3-week practicum, as well as a 1-week capstone experience, capstone research paper generally. And of course, things are a little bit different now. So for the next few intakes, we will modify the program, and students currently are coming in 2 days a week and studying baking theory online on the days that they're not in class. Sometimes when enrollment is a little bit lower, the students actually are able to come in for a whole week of regular programming, but it's all dependent on physical distancing. Everything is working quite well in the program, even now with COVID, and the students are very on track, learning, and meeting all the program learning outcomes, and they're able to get jobs still in industry. So that's been really positive. And I think I answered, like I said, I answered a couple of questions. I don't know if there are any more questions.
Oh, that's great, Lori. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know about the rest of you, but especially during COVID lockdown, I somehow ate a lot more baking than I normally do. And that's thanks to you guys. So awesome. Great job.
The only other 2 questions that were asked, Susie, that you answered directly to me were, 1, can you start in the baking program if you have no experience?
Yep. Yes, you can.
We're going to get to the Q&As just next. So I'll go to that screen. There we go. Yeah, so now we'll say the floor is open for Q&As. Thanks, Carolyn. Let's give that question to Susie again.
Okay, so the question was, can you do the baking program if you've had no experience in baking at all?
Yeah, the program is designed really for people with no previous baking experience. Of course, we do have students who are really have a lot of baking experience through just by doing things at home, by having work in the industry, but we certainly have plenty of students who don't have any baking experience behind them.
And there was one other baking specific question regarding mobility issues, specifically to do with knees.
Yeah, that's I kind of want to say it's a bit of a case-by-case situation. The fact is that our students need to complete all the assignments that they have in the lab, and they need to attend all baking classes, so they can't really sit out part of those classes. However, if students need to take a break, they can take a break, of course. But, the goal is that the students get enough practice time to successfully meet the course and the program learning outcomes.
One option for you might be to talk to disability services. Generally, for serious disabilities, VCC works really hard to get things set up for you to succeed, even in a program like baking. VCC has actually been one of the first full-time baking programs that has accommodated someone in a wheelchair, and she's a successful baker nowadays. We're going to be publishing a story about her pretty soon, actually, so stay tuned for that. I want to
There
direct
was,
Mhm.
I think there was another question about continuing studies baking courses, and I don't know what the answer is to that because that's sort of a different area of administration, I guess, of program administration. But I'm thinking that there's nothing at the moment and nothing on the books for the moment.
Okay. That's a great question for continuing studies, and actually continuing studies loves to get email questions from people too. Carolyn, I'm wondering if maybe you can share CS's contact information
I
for
will
that
find it for
person.
you.
Awesome, thanks. I'd like to get to this one question someone asked about clarifying how culinary classes are delivered right now. Can you describe the hybrid model of virtual and in-person learning? Maybe John or Barry?
When we're looking at the students who are, let's say they signed up for block one, there will be an introduction package sent out to the student to acknowledge that they are in the program, and it would give a detailed outline for the next, let's say, 4 weeks in regards to a schedule. So as it stands right now, the first 2 weeks would be an online course. So all the theory will be presented over the next 2 weeks. And then the student will then see in week 3 and 4 that the student is actually coming into the classroom. And if the class is, let's say, of 16 students, then the student may get 2 to 3 days per week over that 2-week period. We're also having classes now that are doing a 4-week at VCC. So then they are coming to school maybe once or twice a week, and then the other 2 days are online. We also have classes that are a little bit smaller where the students are coming in every week, and maybe the first and the last day are online. The instructors are given an opportunity for the students to see the entire course, be it over that month, and the schedules are put out probably 3 weeks prior to you moving to the next block. So the information is there for the students. We are slowly, moving more towards more face-to-face time. We have to do it step by step, though. It's not a full-on classes. Here we go. So we're doing a blended right now with the opportunity to bring in more students as we move along, as we go forward.
Thanks, John. Yeah, I just want to add something about safety at VCC. So obviously everything was locked down in March and April. People weren't coming to class. We were trying to do everything as possible online and saving that in-person stuff for later. And we've started doing that again. And as a post-secondary institution in BC, we work super closely with the provincial government. And actually before any program was allowed to open up and do things with students again on campus, they had to submit return to campus plans, very detailed plans to the provincial government. And if you have any concerns at all, like all of those plans are available for reading on VCC's website. If you visit vcc.ca/COVID-19, you can see those there and learn about how we're operating very, very safely on campus. And that's why things happen a bit slowly too. We can't just open it up all at once. There's a question here that it was sort of for baking, about selling the baking to the public. And actually, I want to expand this question to everyone. I know, for example, hospitality, the training that you guys do on campus has a lot to do with like serving the public in our on-campus facilities, and the culinary, the food you guys make, that you sell it and you feed it to us, the staff and the general public, and the baking as well. So what's happening to all this food that you're making these days?
Well, in the hospitality department, the students, they bake it or they cook it and they get to eat it themselves. So nothing goes to waste.
That's good.
In baking, the students, similarly are taking some of their products home, and otherwise we're donating them to the food bank and one of the shelters in Vancouver.
Oh, that's fantastic. Wow.
Culinary are doing the same thing. So students are not, let's say, batch cooking. They're doing more individual cooking for one, for two. So is actually a little bit more of an opportunity to keep enhancing and moving forward. So the students will, through Repetitious, get better and better at something. The food they are making, yes, we're donating as well, but they're also, eating and enjoying and taking some home as well. So yes, nothing is going to waste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same as Asian. We do a small amount of the food right now, and students will try everything they cook, and then the rest we donate it. Even we cook a smaller portion, but students will not learn anything less than their regular time. So actually, they have an advantage is because we have a smaller class right now, the instructor will be more close to them.
Yeah, that's almost a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, can we talk a little bit about intakes and prerequisites? So we sort of established that I know we have baking programs and culinary programs that you don't need any experience to come into. They're made for people with zero experience, even though you might have some going in, like you're going to learn everything properly and you're going to learn everything from scratch. What about other prerequisites? So like English, math, things like that. What do you guys need?
With culinary, 18 years minimum age, high school, grade 10 or equivalent, food safe 1, physical strength and endurance. If it was an EAL course, then English requirements and math requirements for that class, and that's available on the website.
Yeah, for Asian, it's really similar to Culinary Arts, except because my students they come all around the world, and some of the education transcript is not recognized in Canada. Like an example, before I have a student, she is a dentist from Indonesia, but doesn't mean anything in Canada. So in this case, the department will do the department interview. So the department head interview is not a test or anything. It's more like English assessment. Basically, just talk, communicate with English, and make sure the student understand what I'm saying in English, and she or he can respond to me in English. Then be good. And of course, we need food safe level 1 as well. Besides that, no experience is even better for me.
Yeah, that way you can mold them to your will, right?
Yeah.
A quick question for John. Is there a wait list for Professional Cook 1? Or maybe Raj might know.
There is a bit of a wait list. If Raj has up-to-date numbers, feel free to jump in there.
I don't have really current numbers, but because the program is offered 11 times every year, you don't have to do much. So if you're not going to get in for October, there will be a seat in November for someone who's applying now and meeting all the prerequisites.
I think the wait list, if I'm looking correctly now, availability is in December for class intake for PC1.
Right, thanks guys. There's a quick question here about the wine sommelier program, and that's not really run by these guys in this session. That's continuing studies. So that's Ernest asking. Ernest, I'm going to reply to you and give you the contact information for continuing studies. Let's see, questions. Anyone's welcome to turn on your mic and ask questions too in the Zoom if you're comfortable doing that.
There's a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Carolyn, go ahead.
There was a question here about Culinary Block 5, specifically about butchering. Are you planning to offer vegetarian and vegan classes in the future?
There is actually more of that in PC2, and we refer to that as Block 10, where they will then tailor into vegan and vegetarian options, not only North America, but from around the world. Tofu and so forth, and starches and vegan options. As you go through PC1, there is, because it's so prevalent now, vegetarian options and so on. So there is, let's say, a percentage in each of the courses that are pertaining to your cooking food vegetarian options or vegan options in there. If you're talking about block 4, which is the baking department, and you're talking about, let's say, block 6 and 7 as well.
All right, thanks, John. I'm gonna have to close up the Q&A session now. We have until about 2:45 for this session to run. A few things to share with you now before we close. This slide is just showing a bunch of different student services that VCC has. So for example, if you're concerned about money, look into our financial aid options, loans, bursaries, scholarships, all kinds of things available to apply for. And actually a number of them don't even get used each year. So things, it's a really good idea to apply for bursaries and scholarships at VCC. We have services for Indigenous students. Priority enrollment is one example of things, of a way that we want to help Indigenous students succeed at VCC. We mentioned disability services a bit there. Yeah, VCC welcomes people of all abilities, and we really do go out of our way to make sure that you can get a successful education, no matter what your abilities. As with most colleges, we have free emotional and life counseling services, and our tutors are especially amazing. Free tutoring for anyone at VCC. If you think you're struggling with English, math, whatever it is, book a quick tutoring session and you'll get the help you need. The next steps, if you're super interested in one of these programs we talked about today, is to talk more at an information session, meet with an advisor like Raj, or apply instantly at vcc.ca. As I mentioned, we have a Zoom drop-in session with advising services all day until 5 p.m. today. I'm going to stick that link right now in the chat stream. Did that go? There it is. Okay, there's your link to the Zoom drop-in session. And there is your promo code. So for anyone not able to see the screen right now, the promo code is capital INFO 1020. That's a code that you can enter in our application system, and it will waive the $35 application fee. And it's only valid until October 16th. And it's only available to domestic students as well. The international students have a different application system. Okay, I'll leave that slide up for just 1 minute. I have one more thing to share in the chat here. This is a copy of the slides we shared today. It includes the contact information for each department. So the email address for baking, culinary, hospitality, everyone's in there, and a bit of more information. What this package does not have, though, is the contest codes. So I'm glad you're here. That's our time today. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks very much.